$3,547. It is day 48 of the journey to $100 million. And it's Father's Day today as I'm recording this. Well, it was Father's Day. It's nighttime here in Australia now, but I didn't do much today. I had a rehearsal where I got paid for a gig from a couple of weeks ago when I was sick as a dog, so that was nice. And just a little pep in my step from when I last spoke to you. I've also cancelled my smartlead.ai subscription because the cold emailing thing, I think I've moved on to bigger and better things, especially after reading the strategy book by Seth Godin. I think cold email is the kind of thing that works worse the longer that you do it. And that means inherently it's not a good, it's a workable strategy, but it's not a good strategy because it gets worse over time rather than getting better with time. So you're competing against the inevitable march of time rather than working with it. So what are we doing instead? We've got our school group, and someone left a comment on the last video, which was to the effect of, hey man, stocks, they're not going to get you to 100 million, bro. You need to go into crypto. I know lots of people who made 8 figures doing crypto, which is multi-decker millionaire. They've done that all in less than 5 years. That's how I'm going to make my millions, bro. And I responded. I was basically like, that's good. I'm glad that it works out for those people. But I've made my returns from Bitcoin. I put in, maybe 2021, I put in $100, took out $500, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe I'll do more. And then I never got around to it because I had some thoughts about Bitcoin that make me personally believe that it is certainly not the future. So the idea behind Bitcoin, I see that it has 2 main strengths. The first strength is that it's not, say, government controlled, but really it's just not controlled by large organizations. And the second strength is that it's inflation proof. There's no such thing as inflation on a Bitcoin standard. And I think that both of those claims are completely wrong. And here's why. So as far as the government / mega corporation goes, there are a few countries where the government has Bitcoin as part of its reserve currency. Additionally, there is a Vanguard index fund which has Bitcoin as the product. So that means that, the same people who are going like, man, Vanguard own like 50% of the stock market, it's all BlackRock, bro. BlackRock also own Bitcoin, and they probably have a relatively controlling stake by now. I'd have to look it up, but like between them and MicroStrategy, I would say maybe 80% of all current Bitcoins are just in those 2 hands. Plus Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever the heck that guy is, he's got like 1 million Bitcoin or something as well. So yeah, it is very centralized at the moment and doesn't go that well for a decentralized commodity. But the other argument is, hey, it's digital gold. There's no inflation. It's a hedge against inflation, bro. And I don't see it that way. The reason I don't see it that way is because gold is something that is inherently scarce, but it's also inherently indivisible. So in the sense of, if I give you a gold bar that's this thick, you can be like, I'll half that gold bar. And I'm like, okay, half a gold bar. There you go. Bam, half a gold bar, that's worth half as much as a gold bar. Cool. But there is a definite limit that you get to with gold. You can't be like, hey man, for you, this book that I'm writing, it's going to be 1 micron of gold, please. That just doesn't make sense. And that's why gold is inherently deflationary, because it's not permanently indivisible. You can't trade in microns of gold. There is a finite limit, probably in the area of like a gram of gold, as the minimum amount of gold that you can sort of pay for things as a form of currency. So you have a gram of gold, and then all other gold is relative to that gram price. Or more realistically, an ounce of gold, and then everything is sort of back propagated to that ounce. So 1 ounce of gold is the minimum value that you can provide to someone, and then the maximum value that you can provide is the maximum amount of gold on Earth. Cool. You take something like Bitcoin, and it is infinitely divisible. So the idea is there's Bitcoins, and then there's Satoshis, which are the real unit economy of Bitcoin. And basically, I think at the moment a Satoshi is 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin. So in the ballpark of 10 cents. And that's one Satoshi. But the thing is, if a Bitcoin rises in value, then the value of a Satoshi just gets smaller. So instead of being 1/1,000,000th of Bitcoin, excuse me. Instead of being 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin, one Satoshi might become 1/100,000,000th of a Bitcoin. And in that way, it becomes inflationary. Because when you start thinking in terms of Satoshis, it's like you can very easily see, so a Satoshi, you just move the decimal point down one. But then all the goods and services get inflated relative to a Satoshi. So your basket of goods, you have 10,000 Satoshis, right? $10,000. Cool. $10,000? Oh man, inflation. It's been crazy this year. Everything's doubled in price. So you have $5,000 worth of buying power. Now on this hand, you have 10,000 Satoshis worth of groceries, and then the value of a Satoshi goes down by like 100%, and then it's like, oh man, I've only got 5,000 Satoshis that I can pay for my groceries with. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why I'm not big on Bitcoin. I have dabbled in Ethereum. Not sure what the conditions are at the moment, but I would consider going into that. But I believe, personally, that pretty much all of the ridiculous success stories are out of the way. And the only people that are going to make money now are the people who are extracting it from fools and who are promising great returns for no risk. And those people, unfortunately, are con artists. If you liked this video, make sure you subscribe, stick around for the next one, leave a comment, because I'm responding to all of them pretty much in video form, and let me know your thoughts on crypto, your thoughts on stocks, and where to from here. I'll talk to you in the weekly recap tomorrow. See you then.